It was a tight 35 minutes, a lot of action, a lot of lore that they packed into it.
35 minutes is being generous.
I swear to God, Adam, you in the credits, you cannot let go of the fact that credits roll. We know credits roll. It's literal runtime.
If you figure in the recap at the beginning, the opening credits, it was at 30 minutes when it actually hit the end credits. So got to figure closer to probably 25 minutes is what it ended up actually being.
And we just lost anyone that started watching this review already. Did you see what you just did, Adam? Hey everyone, Adam and Andrew here with It Takes Two Takes. We are going to talk about episode 3 for season 2 of The Mandalorian. Let's just get right into it, Adam. Mando, look, if we're going off of video game references, his main quest remains the fact that he needs to find others of his kind so that he can eventually find the Jedi and therefore obviously return Baby Yoda. So that's the task. That's what we have to continue reminding ourselves because he constantly is being pulled into side missions. We picked up where we left off from the second episode, going to sort of this moon, this Trask, and we go a bit nautical, right?
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard directed this episode. She's the one who did kind of the village episode in last season. The last one seemed a little bit slower paced. This one definitely seemed much more action paced. And a little bit of a rough landing at the beginning, to say the least.
Yeah, I loved it. It was a bit of a cold open. I love the way that the Razor Crest just, whatever fuel he has left, he hits the dock and then boom. And, I think it also gave a good introduction for this planet or moon that he is on. You've got some recurring species that we're familiar with in the Star Wars universe, which I thought was cool. And we get the frog lady with the frog man and their frog eggs in the jar, and everybody's happy in that regard. In fact, not to jump too far ahead, but Baby Yoda kind of behaved himself this episode. Let's give him credit.
Yeah, I mean, at least towards the eggs, he was behaved himself, right?
The eggs, he might as well have eaten a tadpole at the rate that we've seen him eat amphibians and their spawn.
He plays with his food. His food plays with him back, which was cute.
Good way of putting it.
He was not a big part. He's left to be watched by the fish couple, and because it was going to be a dangerous mission, right?
His amphibious babysitters are on task. They're happy. They're back together.
He goes out on a nice little boat sail, which ends up being a trap.
Yeah.
I so wanted one of the Admiral Akbar race to be on that boat to say it's a trap or something. Yeah,
the Mon Calamari. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yes. And then we even had some prequel species. I know they're also in the Clone Wars too, but the Quarren, where you assume they're taking them out to help, and yet they're another, crew or threat to Baby Yoda.
Right. Try and feed both Mando and Baby Yoda to the creature in their boat.
Right.
And they get saved by some other Mandalorians who show up. And this is where it got interesting for me, was we start to understand why he doesn't take his helmet off, right? We saw in Clone Wars and Rebels, we saw Mandalorians before, and they took their helmets off. So the one thing we never had explained in this series up to date is why don't they take their helmet? Why don't they take their helmets off? It's a creed of they don't take their helmets off. And we find out that he's part of more of an extreme sect of the culture.
He's almost like the sort of fundamentalist side of this, this sort of religion, let's call it, for the
Obus Day of Mandalorians.
Yeah, right, exactly. For those that watch Clone Wars, we have Katie Sackhoff, or I love from Battlestar Galactica, as Bo-Katan, who was in season 4 of Clone Wars and also in Rebels. I have not gotten to season 4 of Clone Wars, but I knew who Bo-Katan was, and I knew that Katie Sackhoff had done the voice for a character in the series. I thought that was really cool. So I can only imagine people that are huge fans of the Clone Wars thrilled by this, because it was pretty well kept. We knew that she was involved in the series, but we didn't know exactly what role she would play. And she played the very character she voiced in Clone Wars, which I think was a really cool move. And obviously, Dave Filoni has a lot of pull in those decisions.
It was a very tight, action-packed episode, right? I mean, it was between the crash landing to the on the boat action to the, oh, we're going to go steal a bunch of weapons off this Imperial ship. It was very much a fast-paced action episode. And, you know, I do love the little reference they made about the fact there's probably a squad of stormtroopers on there who can't shoot
the broadside
worth
of a bantha.
Right.
Yeah. And true to form, that's exactly what happened. They just plowed right through them.
You know?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Bo-Katan and the members of her, amongst her crew, I appreciated the differences in the ways that they approached the mission, the way they approach combat. I don't know if like you caught this, but it seemed to me like they were very much soldiers. They were very, this is the plan. This is how we're going to execute. Let's stick to it. Meanwhile, you have our Mandalorian, who is, he's been more or less cutting his teeth as a bounty hunter. He improvises well, and we saw that in that corridor scene.
Yeah, you could tell the difference in philosophies there between the bounty hunter and a soldier, right? They wanted the weapons, but they wanted the whole ship, and they wanted to interrogate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the sword we saw at the end of first season is what she's after.
Yeah, the dark saber, this Mandalorian symbol of power.
Right.
And we've got Moff Gideon, who is appearing at least in hologram form, and we now know really what she is after here.
You know, I really don't think that's the last we're going to see of them this season.
I don't want to overlook the last thing. Of course, we've known, for anyone that's been following sort of the people that have been brought onto this series, we know that Rosario Dawson is coming on to play Ahsoka, and they basically tell Mando, hey, this is the Jedi you're looking for. So I would imagine that we're going to see her soon. We will see. Ahsoka's not a Jedi at this point. I find it interesting that Bo-Katan didn't mention that, but I don't know that it needed a whole lot of explanation that would have taken too long for a sub 35-minute episode. I think it will find out that Ahsoka will at least have the knowledge of what's going on with the Jedi, because clearly Mando has no idea, or he really doesn't know anything about Jedi. So Ahsoka is going to probably guide him, or at least point him in the right direction, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Well, and based on the timeline, because this happens after Jedi, really, up to this point, the only Jedi that's supposed to be around is Luke. But in any case, it is interesting to see where they're going with it. And, it ends with Baby Yoda eating yet another live creature.
Yes, and this time very much more circle of life, well-deserved type in. I feel like the last 3 episodes, they've been, I will give credit, they have gone to very different environments and worlds in each of the 3 episodes. Not only that, but I do feel like these 3 episodes have been building towards something. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bit of a story of the week moving forward. Maybe it's next week or the weeks that follow. However, I do think now that we kind of get the bigger picture to a degree, we also understand what the true next step is. We have a clear path to someone that has had a connection with Jedi, was a Jedi. I feel like this is a bit of a launching point. I could be wrong, but I do think we're going to see the bigger overall arc of season 2 come to fruition in the next episode or 2 to come.
It feels much tighter this time around than it was first season.
And whether it's 25 minutes or 50 minutes for an episode, I feel like they're finally doing the one thing I wanted them to do, which was, I don't want to judge the runtime. I just want them to, I appreciate the fact that they can say, I am not beholden to any standard or expectation on a episode by episode basis. We want to tell the story we want to tell, and it needs to be effective. I don't care if it's 20 minutes. I don't care if it's an hour and a half, but we will do what we need to do to tell the story we want to tell. And this season, I would kind of, to sort of tie in with what you're saying, I feel like they've done it much better this season than they did in season 1. And look, you like this review, you like this show, you dislike this show, you dislike this review, whatever it is, you're here, you're listening to my words at this very moment. What I want from you is to just comment. You can like, you can subscribe, that's all great. Comment, because let's get a conversation going. That's why we're here. We like to discuss things. We're hoping you're going to join us. So please say something, click something. Appreciate you watching. This is It Takes 2 Takes.
See